Yes.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9:30. We'll call the meeting to order. First item is approval of the agenda.
Make a motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes of the May 16th, 2023 board meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Iowa retail application for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine vapor for Rocket Fuels Food Mart, effective July 1, 23 through June 30th of 24.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Project funding agreement for Bridge 19 between Iowa DOT and Wapello County. 60-9.
This is the Lake Road Bridge, south of town, the first one you cross over. We're gonna be replacing that here in the near future, so this is just a good funding agreement for us.
And this would be an 80-20 split on this, isn't it?
80/20, yes. Yes, it's it is a on system.
And this is, always like pointing out with this is that as we get closer to time to vote on it again, our local option tax, a lot of times that funds these projects, so we're able to use that money. What was do you have a cost estimate of this?
I do not have it at this point in time.
Either way,
So
we're
I know
able
it's
to
$1 million.
leverage so much more money using that 80-20 to get these projects done. And I think we're a lot farther along than a lot of other counties in the state by using this local option money on so many of these bridges. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve it. Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Project funding agreement for Bridge 83 between Iowa DOT and Wapello County.
Same thing. This is a bridge off the system. This is exactly where as you said, our local option sales tax comes into play, because on this one, it will be 100% reimbursed by the state. However, we have to pay it up front. And this is where that leveraging that local option sales tax really comes into play, is on this bridge, because it is off system and not on system.
Where's it at?
This one is north, just southeast of Eddyville on the south side of the river. Up by east of Chomney's.
Eldon.
Eldon.
Or
Chalmers is Eldon.
Eddyville, or not Chomney's, the sorry. The where they do a lot of the tree recycling and
Oh,
they
yeah.
Chambliss.
That's for Chambliss, yeah.
Chambliss, yes. Sorry. Two very different companies, two very different.
Very different borders.
I'm not eating out of Chambliss.
Make motion to approve it. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? May have to go to Chalmers for a tenderloin this afternoon. Now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. How's the diet going tonight? Great. All right. 8th Judicial District Courthouse Security Commission. This was talked about here a month and a half or so ago. And this is just, I guess, officially putting in to effect the courthouse commission. Most of the people was already on here. The only change to this list, we'd like to add Ruben Neff, the county attorney, or a designee from his office to fill another spot on it. Supervisor Batterson will sit on along with Myron Goodkin, Tim Richmond, Don Phillips, Chad Farrington, Jenny Runyon, which is the clerk of court, Troy Seeley's the new juvenile court services supervisor for this area. Michael Fisher is a magistrate, Judge Daly is a district court judge, Felicia Dial, court attendant, Kelly Spurgeon, auditor, and she's also in charge of buildings and grounds, and Ruben would be the list.
I make motion to approve it. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Conservation Trust. So this had came up probably 3-4 months ago. we've kind of navigated some of the stuff with it and got it down to what we would feel comfortable with. Putting into that trust fund to help match some grants and some other capital improvement projects. It would be a 50% of the proceeds of camping and visitor fees and other income, including the Gothic House, as it's included in the conservation department. Conservation Trust would keep 100% of the donations. I think what we're really looking at is the money that we're putting into the campground out there with that 50% is where we really hope that the growth of that in revenue, the county don't really see the loss of the revenue. That makes sense. So where we normally average maybe $60,000 in camp fees, we'd love to see 120, 130,000 in fees. Half of that money would go into the conservation trust. The other half would continue to go into the general fund like normal. So then hopefully the county really don't see a loss in revenue on those lines.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion, questions or comments?
Most counties do this, like Rich had said.
I wouldn't say most, there's a good handful. I think from the reports we got, it was probably somewhere around a dozen, I think, responded to the questions that was sent out by Rick or Kelly, whoever had sent it out, on just how they use the fund, how it's contributed to, things like that. And there was a wide array of answers. And I know there was some to where the boards of supervisors after several years, and this is always something that I try to look at 20 or 30 years down the road, where we set this up, where now supervisors are saying, wait, you have all this money over here. We're not putting money into your budget and helping with some other projects. So it's definitely something that we want to continue to work with county conservation. Even after this, is hopefully gives them kind of a step up on some grant opportunities and some other capital projects that maybe they couldn't help with. But yeah,
Give you an example. A lot of $1,000, $2,000 grants out there that they can get. They have to put up funding for it, but they don't want to come to us every week and ask for money to put up. This way they would have the funding available to apply for their own grants.
a lot of Arbor Day or foundation type things, trees and different, the $1,000 or $2,000 will get you 500 trees to give out to citizens or plant in your conservation areas. So it'll help with projects like that.
We discussed this, the parameters that were set out at last board meeting, and our conservation board was on board with it as well.
Very good.
Okay, so my question is, the Gothic House was included, then it wasn't, now it is again?
It is included.
So as far as, so the admissions, is that what you're looking for? Because I have event fees and, I mean, that's all I have is minor event fees, and those event fees usually pay for, if we have any supplies, like the basket class, right? Cost $20, it costs $20 for the supplies. So, I guess you'll have to tell me, are you talking the admissions that will go into this outside of my day-to-day, just like you're
At the
gonna
board
talk
meeting
about?
with conservation, all income. So
Okay,
Now we need to look at that because we were planning on that revenue paying for your help.
all right, great.
So
And I have a donation box and those kinds of things too, so.
the donations all stay.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
With Gothic,
Yeah, all 100% of all donations stay.
with the Gothic House, or will go into the big fund.
They, the board meeting, that just stays with them. So if they want to keep it separate with her,
Okay, well, you can tell me my number and that's what we'll do.
If I could comment on this, that this is really, to me, exciting because it gives us the potential to really expand some of the recreational opportunities in the county. And there are several projects that are being discussed right now that this will fit in very nicely to in the future. So it's exciting.
Does this have a sunset at all, or is it just you started now and you just? until you
Yes,
decide
there
to
is,
ever
there is
end?
no sunset. By code, if the Conservation Commission says we want to do this, the supervisors have to set it up. But ultimately, it's up to the supervisors what goes in it and then how the money's spent out of it. We will have to approve, you know, the grant match money going to things or stuff like that will still have to come to us to approve. Anything else, Jen? Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Alright,
Those opposed? Number 8, award Ashland Road HMA resurfacing and paving project.
This is a project that we've been had in the works for a while. We're also working with the city of agency to split that cost share of their section and our section of the pavement, and then working with 2 of the landowners to extend that pavement. Payment just project came in and we're.
Very good. Yeah, pretty close to your estimate one, though.
I was 33% under, 30% under.
Wow.
Yeah, the asphalt took a giant hike in December and January that I did not anticipate.
it's a city question, they're part of this.
Agency, did they question it? We just need to work out kind of a payment plan back from agency on that, but they're on board with
Yeah,
it. I mean,
and
it's
one of the landowners is on board. I have not heard back from the board,
policy.
but I mean, we have the petition from them all and 2080 agreements all signed, and we just need to work it out with. I think it's a no-brainer to move forward on this one.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna hear back from them, so.
Yeah, this has been about 2 years in the works, I think, really 1.5 to 2 years in the works between agency and
Yep.
ourselves on this, so that'll be a good thing to get it done and move on from that.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Yes,
Yes.
I do. FY 23 Iowa DOT budget amendment for secondary roads.
This is the budget amendment. You guys did a county version of it back in January, February. This is just the DOT one. I waited until a little bit later in the year just to make sure that everything was captured. Looking at it, you know, with 9 months underneath my belt instead of only 6, is post accurate, and I think we're pretty good in January with that budget amendment. So this one here reflects with that. There was a drop in our construction money because of that Ashland Road not going this year. It'll all be paid out of next year's budget.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Proposal to install water supply line to cooling tower. Danielle, do you have anything on this from Ellie, what it?
I do not.
Is this the one where the company was gonna do it? Be good, and they said it did them.
I know it's something Ernie wanted to put on the agenda, but I haven't talked to Kelly about it.
It's a $7,625 item. And it's a water line for the cooling tower.
Already was talking to me about running the lines above ground. Which they have to heat it all the time.
No, this is,
Yeah. It's on here. Optional install heat trace tapes. Somebody digging, have to dig it up the ramp.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all the details on it. We don't have anybody here to tell us about it.
Kelly text said we need a new line ran from the cooling tower to the courthouse. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll move to approve.
There's two options there, Brian.
There's a base bid and then to add the heat trace line. So you make the motion to approve the project up to, would that be 8,000, 88.50?
Yes, that was my motion.
That's what I thought you had said.
Almost 88.50. Second motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Request for payroll approval, new hire conservation aid. Oh, that's a good one. I mean, we'll go back to it. All right, update on fiber optic and EMT response.
Okay, this is a project I worked on a while back. Citizens Mutual came to our meeting and requested our partnership with them. They assisted us in submitting an application. And that was to designate the northwest section of Wapello County as an intervention zone that gives us priority on future grant applications to install fiber optic in that area. And this does not include any dollar amount grant award at this point, but it sets you in stage for that. There's 96 applications submitted. And I can't believe this, but we were #1 on the ranking list. So certainly that should mean something positive will happen for the northwest section of Wapello County. And what I especially like about Citizens Mutual is they've agreed, their board of directors, it's a mutual telephone company out of Bloomfield. Their board of directors has agreed that as we sign on with them, that the members are full members of their mutual co-op. And so I like that concept that we become a part of that organization. And they've always had a good reputation in Bloomfield. So that is that. In a way, I'm not sure it's good to be #1. That must mean we're very needy, but who cares? I'll take it. And then
And that area will cover like the Kirksville area, and by previous maps,
yes,
like with this intervention zone, is that what they call it?
yes,
That's one of the areas that was really kind of an unfunded block when we were looking at doing this before. So this grant
right.
will help cover that and put us hopefully in the next 4 years or so over that 85% to 90% mark of Wapello County being completely filled with fiber.
Yeah, so it does go from 34 north, and then it wraps around almost to the airport. And it does include a backup system for Cargill at Eddyville, which they were impressed with, and they submitted a letter supporting the concept. So, yeah, and also Chillicothe and Kirksville.
Is there any word on when you'd know? What
No.
kind of funding you'd get or when you'd get it? Or
No, that's still to be determined.
I'm guessing it'll probably be after they've done the current projects south of 34, right?
Yes, yeah, they're currently working south of 34 right now.
Right. And then if you got funding for this, that would come after that's
Yes.
completed.
That's correct. Okay. Then on the EMT response, that was the deal that we pursued with Tim Richmond and the emergency management office here. We did receive the grant. We already knew that. They had 26 applicants for 17 positions. So those people have been determined that are going to take that program. And Tim Richmond said that he was excited with the quality of the applicants for that. And I believe there was 4 counties involved. 5 of the people involved are Wapello County residents. So that gets that project off to a very good start.
Well, I know he struggled finding Wapello County applicants because he sent out an email to us and other
Yes.
people. He must have been really up against the clock to get the Wapello County kind of contribution
Right.
toward that program.
So it worked. We have them.
I think some help from the high school. He had sent some stuff out and, I'd seen some emails back and forth with that. I think the partnership with the high school really helped on it. Anything else?
That's it.
So they have 17 instead of original 16, is that right?
Yes, because of, they had some extra funding and that way if one drops out, they still have the 16. Yeah,
Okay.
Well, good job on the grant. And I see them tell we've dealt with them now for, I'd say probably a year and a half or so, and they've been excellent to deal with and any questions or anything we have, they're right there and always good, open line of communication with them as well. So one of those things that I think we're all proud of to be a part of bringing Wapello County into the 21st century. So. All right, any other questions or comments?
I might add, one of the things on that application was the cooperation that we received from secondary roads. That made a difference. So thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, personnel, request for payroll approval, new hire, conservation aid. I think this is to fill a vacancy.
I'll move to approve.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request for payroll approval, new hire, correctional officer 1.
I'll move to approve.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Request for payroll approval, new hire, CO1 to fill a vacancy.
I'll move to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk 3 position to fill a vacancy. This is in motor vehicle.
Make motion approved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any other business to come before the board?
Got a couple things for you. What's the status of the walk bridge? Looks like they've got the concrete piers in the ground. Where are they at?
We're waiting on the deck to come in. So the deck will come in 3 pieces. They'll come back down, bring their crane back down, swing them over, set them, and then the Trails Council will work out from the other side of the bridge. They have a key to that now, still Jeff, and I don't know if they've done anything up there yet or not, but they were happy it wasn't as bad as what they thought it was, as back far as they thought it was. So we're hoping the timeline of those coming in was about the middle of June. So we're hoping those are able to get in, they're able to get them set. And then by the middle to end of July, that walk bridge will be back open is our best guess right now. It's gonna be tough to burn that end down again.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The other thing, I'm sure you're familiar with the law that the governor signed into the bill that passed. The governor signed into law about county property tax levies, and a cap on those going, I think, 4 years from now, it's supposed to be 350 and 395, basically regardless. But it seems to be tied to a percentage of growth year over year, I think it is.
Right, 3%.
Right. And I've read some pieces where, some counties are in real trouble, that they basically told their department heads, keep an eye on your budget, going forward. And I know there's some counties around here that are certainly over 350. And I know you guys have stuck pretty well to 350 for years, but what are kind of your thoughts on that bill? Does it make it harder, to have an operating budget that, you know, has to be, you know, tied to that hard cap of a levy.
Yes,
Considering you don't know what your county's growth is gonna be year over year.
yes. So it's not just even the 3%, it's the things like, the veterans tax credit is a good example. That was raised this year, to, I believe, 4,200 with no backfill from the state. So, I don't think we're getting anything back on those now. Where before, like, let's say a homestead tax credit, someone saved $200 on that, the state would reimburse us $150, $175. There's some of these that aren't going to be backfilled from the state, so there's going to be more, I guess you'd call them abatements or different exemptions that people are going to have. So, you know, how much is that going to affect us? We don't know yet. I'm working on some things right now because I feel one of the things we've done is, you know, increase the pay. And, you know, when the city had done it, that resulted from layoffs. Or that's how the budget was balanced. We were in good shape. We're good for this year. I still think we're probably okay for next year. Before I really say to people, get ready to cut wherever you're gonna cut, there's some questions I have. Is the debt service, is that part of the 3%? Because they made some changes to make it easier to borrow. So is that gonna be factored into that? So there's some questions that I have, like for ISAC, for the state to figure out that I don't fully understand with it. But, you know, I think that the part that I had kind of told Darren the other day, I've started on some stuff with it now. We could practically do our budget for next year. I mean, you know, you're not going to grow over 3% regardless of what it is. So if our property tax levy was $7 million, you know, a few $100,000 is what new money you could expect to have. That's if the valuation will be up on this. But, so yes, it's going to make it tough. It's going to make it tough on everybody. For the counties like Davis County, that's well over that 350 levy now. I believe Appaloosa County is as well. A lot of the counties, more distressed counties in our area, have been over that 350 mark for a long time. For them to get that back down from, what was Davis County, 493, something like that, to trim off $1.43 of your general levy, there's nothing else they can do besides cut people. I don't think there's other options. I'm not down there. I'm not in their budget. I don't know. But, you know, with us, we're at the 350. We've never went over that. And that's a good thing for us. So we don't have to worry about that side of things. Now we just have to worry about making sure we can pay for what we spend today in 2 years. So I'm working through some of the payroll stuff with that right now, just to see, because like I said, you could about lay out your budget now, other than some money that you're not getting, you know, on how the exemptions come back and stuff. So yes, it remains to be seen, but it is going to make it tough on counties.
Yeah, I think the only way it's even flexible is if there's like, there's certain factors, I think, unusual amount of people not working, you know, in a county. There's just different variables, I think, that might allow a county to exceed it. But it seems like it's very, very stringent on what you can do, and you kind of have to work around that.
And in talking to one of the reps after session ended, you know, his response was, well, in 8 years, you're still going up 24%. Still a 24% increase in 8 years. If every year that 3%. So I'll continually look for them to try to figure out a way to keep that lower, to where either way, it's not good for the counties and trying to just pay for the general basic needs that we have.
But you feel like, you know, this year, and certainly next year, your carryover balances aren't a good enough position to where. It's not, I don't wanna say an immediate concern, but it's a little bit further out there.
That's my feeling. And like I said, hopefully, my hope is before July 1st. That I'm able to kind of lay a little bit of that out to see roughly how much money we're gonna have next year to spend. What's the raises, the equipment, the different things like that. I mean, when you're looking to order something now that's 2 years out, Jess.
Yep.
Graders, things like that, you know, to do that. And then factor that in for your budget 2 years down the road to make sure you're still under that 3%. It's like, I think the good thing is, you know what you're gonna get for the most part. If it's, you can raise 3%, but it's gonna make it tough just to maintain services.
If I could add to that,
Yep.
the county here in the past has done, I think, a good job, and this is to Brian's credit and previous board, of keeping the county rate reasonable and keeping the cash balance in good shape. So we're in a good position for whatever happens. I think what Brian alluded to too is this idea that I think we as supervisors want to engage the representatives from our area in a discussion now that they're out of session and really challenge them to do what's right for the counties and the cities in our area. And that to me is an issue. We need to engage them, and we will. And the public can be involved in that process too, and should be involved in that process. So that's my thoughts, plan.
No, I just had a question for Karen.
Anything else come? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to, first of all, recognize and thank Supervisor Morgan for his leadership and the recognition of our veterans, both living and dead, and the Memorial Day celebration that we held this week. So thank you for your thoughtfulness in that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did last week Kelly and I went up to a conference in Des Moines about the opioid settlement money, kind of get an idea of what we could use that for, what we couldn't use it for. We heard a lot of speakers. Turns out drugs are bad. Day one on that was drugs are bad still. So it's prevention, treatment, and then support after the fact is kind of their big pushes on it. I have talked to Deputy McConnell a little bit. He's working with Leadership Academy. One of their projects this year is to try to do like a 5th grade, what I would refer to as kind of a DARE type program with that. I'm going to sit down with him farther on that. I think maybe that's something that if we could get going in the schools, and that's one thing they said, the age to start talking to kids about this stuff is 9. So I know we've had some 3rd graders with vapes here toward the end of the school year and stuff, which blows my mind, but it's getting younger and younger, it seems. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to partner with that, partner with the sheriff's office, partner with the schools. And I think that's where a lot of it's coming into. I think we're looking at probably around the range of $700,000 or $800,000 coming into that program. And that seems like a whole lot of money until you try to start a program. If you're going to hire a person to teach this, to maintain it, that money then starts not going very far. Narcan, right? That Narcan, that's one that, one of the speakers, I think she said it every other word and she was upfront about it. That's the number one thing. Get them in the hands of people, get them to where people can go to a Walgreens, which to my understanding, you can go right to the pharmacy counter and pick that up for yourself, a loved one to have, whatever it may be. A lot of questions as far as do those promote the use of opioids, and several studies they had read says it absolutely does not. So a lot of good ideas, some different things. Story County Sheriff's Office had started, like I would almost call it a deterrent program, where instead of arresting, the person that's in possession. It's more of a treatment outlook on it. So you're not taking the same person 50 times in a year, you know, I mean, it's, so just some different ideas, and it's always good at meetings like that to be able to talk to other supervisors, other people, like the one of the presenters brought this Story County thing up, and the lady that actually started it, the supervisor of Story County, was sitting there, so she was able to get up and talk about it, and some new innovative type things is, like I told Aaron, what we're doing now isn't working. We need to figure out some other way. And sometimes change is hard, but I think we need to look at some different things and hit things from all levels. I mean, definitely get into the classrooms and talk to kids and make sure kids understand, you know, it's a shame you're doing it at 10 years old, the fentanyl crisis or whatever else it is, but no, it was a good program and worthwhile going to. Anything else? Any other discussion?
I just had a question for Ruben, but he snuck out. Do you know where he's at on the windmill?
I do not. I can talk to him about it though, and I'll get back with you.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? Last call.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.